You're watching KUAM News Extra with Sonya Artero.
And welcome back. For those just tuning in, we are talking with the 105th Troop of the Guam Guard, who were embedded as the first training team tasked with helping Afghan forces operate as independent entities. The team is part of the Combined Security Transition Command of Afghanistan, headquartered in Kabul, where the war on terror first began. Because much of the progress being made in Afghanistan doesn't make the news, the commander of this Guam Guard troop joins us in the hopes of providing us with a better appreciation for what really happens there. So again, thank you both for coming in. We appreciate it. I do want to talk a little bit about how you guys overcome the language barrier, because I'm sure it's a different language. What do? You train, you learn their language. What do you do?
Yes, that's one of the things we did when we were before we deployed. We were at Fort Riley for 3 months, and we had hours and hours of language instruction. Although we had hours of language instruction, we were taught how to read and write and speak Dari, which is one of the major languages in Afghanistan. Although we had hours and hours of language, we still have an interpreter, but we use the interpreter every day. However, we don't rely on them 100%. That's why we get the language instruction.
Okay. Now, I am going to run a couple of pictures just so people can appreciate them. We have some pictures. One in particular was taken during a recon on a mountain in Afghanistan where you, Rod Leon Guerrero, and Sergeant First Class Raymond Murfallen flew a Guam flag. First of all, who are the gentlemen here? Is this part of the 105th Troop?
No, these are Afghan soldiers. Okay, this is the picture of the Guam flag. We're proud of the Guam flag wherever we go. We have it. When we went to Fort Riley, we took it out and we flew it, and so we climbed a mountain which was 9,250 feet, and Sergeant Murfallen and I flew that flag. We have a couple flags that we've been giving out as appreciation to people who've helped the team prepare for deployment.
What, if anything, do you teach the Afghan forces about Guam and life on Guam? I'm sure they're curious.
The one thing we always, at least for me, is we talk about the food. We've even cooked for them, and Guam is known for its great food. So, and they're interested to learn about other cultures.
Fred, what are some of the curious questions you've gotten from the police there?
Well, for one, they don't know where Guam is at, so literally trying to explain to them where Guam is. So I try to use Asia, so they know places like Malaysia, Indonesia, and I'll say just go a little bit further east, and that's where the Philippines and Korea is, and then we're about 2 hours from there. So yeah, they didn't realize that we're that close after we tell them how we have to travel 3/4 of the world to get here, and not realizing that it's only a couple hours of a plane ride to Guam. So they would ask questions like, what is it like, what are we doing? And in some ways it's similar to the culture back there, because they're very hospitable, they're very friendly, they're very outgoing in many instances.
How, in fact, did you adapt to their religion and their culture? Because I'm sure there are times for which, certain buildings you have to enter in certain clothing, and certain things that you have to respect while in their country.
Right. Like for instance, you're not allowed to enter a mosque. So that's just a given, and for the most part, because their mosques are just beautiful. I mean, people would live in mud huts, and they'll be living, 200 feet, and a mosque is right next to them. So, because that's one of the buildings that really stand out, and it's a beautiful building. So that, and then things like the Quran, which is their Bible, if I want to use that term. And a couple times we're doing a search on a residence, and I didn't know it was because it wasn't marked, and they literally had to jump on me and say, "Wait, stop!" And I got it kind of got me aware, and then they said, "No, it's the Quran." I said, "Okay." So it's just things like that. I mean, that they have their culture and their religion, and it's just a matter of they have certain times when they pray, and we allow them to do that. We stop training or we work around the training to have them do their prayer.
Being that you gentlemen were there for approximately a year, and I know you're returning, Rod, I was just wondering, how were you guys received? The whole time, were you received wholeheartedly, or I'm sure there were times for which you weren't?
Well, Our tour there is for a year. We're halfway, so that we're here on leave, 6 months. We were, in the Army side, we were received very well. Before I got there, there was another mentor, so they're used to mentors coming in and teaching them. So they expect it and they hope to get a good mentor, because not all mentors are good. And so I was received well, and they look forward to good mentors.
And to your return, I'm sure. Ken, thank you, gentlemen. We appreciate it. Stay tuned to KUAM News Extra as we talk more about the Guam Guard's key role in training and equipping the Afghan National Army and its police.
Enjoy the sun.